Okay, so we've got just this guy, skis down the hill, does a little backflip, crashes, and gets up. How do I reverse this? Do you guys remember how to do that? Yep. Other one. So do a right click on this, right? So do a right click on your clip. And then what do I select? You guys remember? Speed duration. Nailed it. So speed duration, about 2/3 of the way down. Click on speed duration. So right click on your clip, speed duration. And then you're just going to put a check mark in the reverse speed. And then hit OK. And now he's going to go backwards. So if you push play, you'll see him get up, do his backflip, and then ski backwards up the hill. So it's just that easy. Now if you notice, as I'm playing here, it gets a little glitchy. What happens is when you put your videos in reverse, Premiere doesn't have like the video file to play. It has to re-evaluate that, and what that is, that's called a render. And so it has to go through a render process to make it smooth so that it can read it easier. Now you don't have to do this, but if it bugs you as you're editing, as it's glitching, you can fix that. See this little yellow line right along the top? That's called the render line. It can be in 3 colors. It could be red, yellow, or green, just like a stoplight. So red means that it probably needs to be rendered, and you're not seeing everything you should be seeing. Yellow means you can render it if it bugs you. You can fix it out if it's starting to glitch and it's driving you crazy. And green means it's rendered. Now to do that, just make sure your timeline's selected, and then you just go up to Sequence, and then it's called Render Into Out, is what that's called. So Sequence, Render Into Out. You click on that. It's going to bring up a render window. Might have gone to my other screen. And it's going to take a minute to get through. But this yellow line, when it's done, will turn green. Now if you're using GoPro footage, even some phones will do this too. Get super glitchy because it's just a good high quality video. And so this will get, as you're playing, it'll get super glitchy when you reverse it, so you're going to need to do the render process. Now, it usually doesn't take this long. This is at 2 minutes because we only have a little 45-second clip. So it usually goes pretty quick. We're all on the same network using the same clip, so it's really just bogging it down is what it's doing. And it might, if you have GoPro footage, if you had maybe 4 or 5 minutes of GoPro footage, it might take you 20 minutes to do that. So kind of time when you're going to do it so that you're not, maybe do it a clip at a time, or do it towards the end of class, or just sometime. I wish I didn't have class after this so that you could just let it run, but I do have a class after. Okay? But that will eventually turn green, and then it'll go. We're not going to wait for 2 minutes to do that. So you can cancel that out. Okay, so we've got this in reverse. Let's go down. Let's play with where he skis up the hill. So skiing up the hill backwards seems a little bit long, so we want to speed that up. Let's make that so it goes a lot quicker. So what I want to do is I want to cut that clip of him just going backwards up the hill, and we're going to speed that up. So find with your scrub line where he's at the bottom of his jump. So just grab your scrub line and get maybe, so right in through there, and then you can use your left and right arrow keys too to get that. So I'm going to get him about right there. So find where that is on your timeline, and then we're just going to cut. So I can do a Control K, or I can go over and get my razor tool and come over and cut it, whatever you'd like to do with it. So now I just have that clip of him skiing up the hill, and we want to speed that up. Okay, now to do that, I'm going to go over and get a tool. So I have my selection tool. 2 down from that, you'll see the ripple edit tool. If you put your mouse over it, and then you'll see a little triangle. Little triangle things means there's something under it. So when there's something under it, to get to it, just click and hold on that tool, and it opens up another menu. So on that ripple edit tool, click and hold, and then you'll see the rate stretch tool. That's what we're looking for. It's also the letter R if you want to hit your keyboard. So we're going to click on the rate stretch tool. Now when I come over and put that on my clip, you'll see on the very end it's going to turn to a bracket with like a squiggly line through it. What we're going to do is we've got a little maybe 10-second clip. We're going to shrink that down to 5 seconds. Doesn't really matter how. Just grab the end of that and just shrink that down a ways. That played the same clip. It doesn't cut anything off the end. It just plays the same clip in a shorter amount of time. So now when I play through that, you'll see he's going to ski backwards up the hill really fast. Okay, again, it's a little glitchy, but we could render that out. Easy enough, right? There's a couple processes to do this too. I'll show you another process next time that's a little more intense that is nice. Did you get that to work? Give me some nods. We good? Sweet. Okay, let's make it a little challenging now. Let's do his backflip because I really like his backflip. Let's put that in slow motion. Let's slow that down. So I want to cut the part where he's at the bottom of the hill, where I've already got that there, and then I'm going to cut again where he's at the top of the hill. So that's going to frame his backflip. So get your scrub line and go to maybe just where he's standing up, just before he falls. So it's going to give me a little sliver here. So then I can Control K or get my razor tool and cut. Use your left and right arrow keys again to get close on that. Okay, what direction am I going to stretch this time? Am I going to shrink it up? If I want it to play slower, what direction am I going to go? I'm going to go the other direction, right? So I'm going to stretch that out. So I can't really stretch that out right now. So I need to move this out of the way. I need to move him skiing up the hill out of the way so that leaves a gap that I can stretch the other one out. So just grab your move tool and just pull this one out of the way a little bit, and then you can stretch that out as far as you want. So I can grab my rate stretch tool, and I'm just going to stretch that out a little bit, then close my gap back up. Make sure you're using your rate stretch tool. And then stretch that clip so you got the clip of him just doing his backflip. So then his backflip's going to be super slow. Now you're kind of limited on how far you can stretch that. Because what happens is, let's say you're filming in 30 frames per second. So I've got 30 pictures for every second of footage, right? So if I stretch that out from 1 second to 2 seconds, how many frames do I have? What's 30 times 2? 60. So I got 60 frames, right? What that does for slow motion, it just duplicates frames. So frame 1 now has 2, frame 2 has 2, frame 3 has 3. And if I stretch it to 3 seconds, I now have 90 frames, but frame 1 has 3 pictures, frame 2 has 3 of the same picture, and then it just keeps going. So the farther I stretch that out, it's just duplicating pictures. So if you go too far, it'll stay glitchy. It won't play smooth. It's almost like a slideshow because each frame is like, say it's 10 frames of the same picture, and then 10 frames of the next picture, and then 10 frames. So it's just like a quick slideshow is all it's doing. So you got to be careful of how far you stretch that out. You can't really smooth it out. That's why when you hear of a phone that films like in 120 frames per second, you can take that'd be 4 seconds of pure footage, right? So then I've got 4 seconds of slow motion. I could stretch that out to 8 seconds and only be duplicating once. So it gives you a nice, pretty slow motion. We'll actually do a project on the road with that. Okay, questions on this? We all right on that? Okay, you don't have to keep this on here. Maybe keep it over here though, so that we can play with it later on again. But you can get rid of it on your timeline, and then start playing with your footage. Now, if you didn't get your footage on your computer last time, make sure that remember it's 3 steps to get into Premiere. It's from your phone, plug your phone in, or SD card or whatever, onto your D drive, and then into Premiere. Don't go right from your phone to Premiere. It doesn't work. Make sense? And then once you get it into Premiere and on your timeline, then you can take a screenshot of that and upload that for your footage check. Some of you did that last time. I don't know if we got that far. Today's the deadline for that. For full points. You can get partial points next time.